Hello everyone and welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name's Michael and I'm bitten by a radioactive book. Today is Wednesday and that means Top 5 Wednesday, and this week's topic is Top 5 non-YA books. And for me, as a reader who doesn't really read that much YA, it just means my top 5 books. At number 5, we've got my favorite science fiction book. It's Old Man's War by John Scalzi. And Old Man's War was the book that really brought me into reading science fiction. It was a recommendation by a friend that I got, and I really liked the witty kind of banter that the book had. It's a first-person narrative, very, very entertaining. Scalzi has a good sense of humor, and it was a really good introduction to the genre and one of the best books you can read in science fiction. On number 4 we have my favorite book of last year. It's The Red Knight by Miles Cameron. It's beautifully crafted. Miles Cameron is actually Christian Cameron, I think he's called. He's a historical fiction writer. And so it's not technically a debut, it's only his fantasy debut, but he has read tons of historical fiction books. And the world feels really medieval. He's very good in world building, but there's a contrast between this medieval world building and some very, very magical ideas he has of the wild, which is kind of the antagonizing force towards the humans, but he is also able to show the kind of conflict from their side as well. He has a lot of characters that might be confusing in the beginning, because we have characters that we meet in the beginning and then for 100 pages they're left out, and then we meet them again and are like, oh, who's this guy? But overall it's a very rewarding read. It had some great characters, not all characters, because he has so many, but the major characters are really, really great. He does a lot of very intelligent things that I didn't expect and go a bit against like the normal tropes in fantasy, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's highly recommended. It's beautifully crafted, as I said. So yeah, if you have a heart for more medieval kind of storytelling, then go and check him out. At number 3 we have one of the most important books in my personal reading journey. It's Eric of Melniboné, or Eric of Melnibone, by Michael Moorcock, and I read this when I was like, I think 17 or 18, and up until this point I had only read books that had really heroic stories, coming of age, questing, sword, Lord of the Ring clone books, a lot of Dragonlance, and this was the first book where I encountered a character that was more ambiguous. He was more of a grey character. It's very interesting. He's very sickly, and he can only really live through his sword, Stormbringer, that he gets, and Stormbringer has a mind of his own, and he has to slay a lot of people to survive, and he doesn't really want that, but he needs it, and so yeah, you can see where the conflict is coming from. And in difference to like having a bad evil overlord, Sauron style, like Lord of the Rings has, Michael Moorcock played more with the concept of order versus chaos, and neither of them is really good or really bad. And that was something that was very important for me at that stage, to read something that is not that good evil kind of schematic. And so this book had a huge impact of what I'm personally looking for in fantasy since I read it. So Eric is number 3. For number 2, we have a series that is very, very popular, and most of you will know it or have heard about it or even read it. It's the A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R. Martin. My favorite book is the third one, A Storm of Swords. I think I don't have to tell you that much about it. Multi-POV, again, great characters, who are neither good nor bad, but just motivated by their own kind of desires or concepts that they have of how you should live. It's very great. If you haven't read it, read it. It's way better than the TV show. The first season of the TV show is really good and really close to the books, but then later on the books become so complex that the TV show can't do them justice anymore. The TV show goes or does really good, but the books offer just so much more. And for number 1, I picked Stephen Erickson's The Malazan Book of the Fallen series. It's my favorite series of all time. I picked the 6 books, the Bone Hunters, up with the 8th book, Tall the Hounds. These 2 are my favorites of the series. Describing the series is really difficult. I always say it's like A Song of Ice and Fire in complexity, but times 10, and that is no exaggeration. If you read all 10 books, you will have like more than 300 point of view characters. Of course, some are only used like for 1 or 2 mini chapters or something like that, and you have a recurring cast through the books, but sometimes the complete cast changes. There are 3 different continents, and on each continent you have different characters and only a few overlapping in the beginning, and the first 5 books, although already awesome each on its own, are just more than like introducing us to the world. And then with this one, book 6, the story arcs begin to go into each other, and it is really demanding. As I'm a foreign reader, I normally, I think with a normal book, I need the dictionary like 10 times in 300 pages or something like that, and with Stephen Erickson I need a dictionary almost every page because there are so many new words to learn, and it has great reread potential, because with Stephen Erickson, although most of the books are around 1,000 pages, not a single word is wasted, although there are lengthy parts, but he's a master in hiding plot lines in subtext, and if you know what you're looking for, you can see, for example, that he spills the plot for book 8 in a prophecy in book 5, but in book 5, with the information you have, then you can't really think that this will happen, and you're never able to spot that. You get only that on a reread, and rereading is it. The whole series is like, wow, in book 1 there are things where you think, whoa, oh, okay, that happens in book 10, and you can't just realize it when you read it the first time. So this is the most complex, the most demanding, and the most rewarding series I have ever read, and I think no one will ever come close to this. So, The Malazan Book of the Fallen, Stephen Erickson. It's not for everyone, but if you are into it, then this will be amazing. So, that's it for me today. I hope you liked this little video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of me, subscribe to my channel. If you want to know what's coming up on my channel, please look inside the description box. I have a little segment there called On the Horizon. I wish you a good day and hope you get bitten by a really good book too. Bye.